All right, you Auburn recruiting junkies, we've got another video for you. It's been a while since we've had an opportunity to talk about any form of recruiting, but now we're talking about basketball recruiting in addition for the 2025 class for Coach Bruce Pearl. Who are we talking about? Brand new addition for that class, a combo guard. His name is Kaden Magwood out of North Carolina and Combine Academy. What we like to do in all of these videos is we like to give you a little bit of information, which we've already kind of discussed a little bit, about the particular prospect and the commit now that's going to be joining the class. And of course, then look at what it means for Coach Bruce Pearl, for Kaden, for the future of the program, how he might actually factor into what's coming up in the future for Auburn men's basketball. So let's dive into all those things right now. As we just discussed, this guy comes from Combine Academy, and he's originally a native of Louisville, Kentucky, but Combine Academy is in North Carolina. You know that that's a pretty good pedigree no matter where you slice it, whether it's Louisville, Kentucky, whether it's North Carolina, which is where his current academy is listed right now. Depending on where you look, you're going to find that he is going to be listed somewhere in the vicinity of 6'1", 170-ish, somewhere in that vicinity pounds. It's going to vary a little bit depending on who you're looking at. But what that puts him nicely at is obviously a guard position, which he is listed at on all sites. But where the difference is where you can find some opinions about where he might actually play for Auburn, depending on what their needs are at the time that he arrives, that being the next season since he's part of the 2025 class. So he is listed on some sites as just a straight guard. Some list him as a point guard. I think very few actually do. Some list him, and probably most, as a combo guard or a shooting guard. What does this strike me as? This is a guy that has versatility, that can play everywhere. I think he was quoted as saying that he is a scoring point guard, a guy who looks to score first rather than just set up the plays, but he can certainly do that. That is his wheelhouse as well. Who does that remind you of? Might be Tahad Pettiford, who's currently here right now, who a lot of people were in a similar debate about. Is he going to play point guard truly? Is he going to play a combo? Is he going to be more shooting guard? Versatility is the thing that comes to mind when we talk about this guy, and he's got nice measurables to go with it, so that means that he's not locked into one particular position, can play him wherever we need to play him at a particular time that he arrives onto campus. He is the second commit in this class, obviously the 2025 class. If you've forgotten who the individual was that was committed back in September, the end of September, that's Simon Walker out of Huntsville in Huntsville High School, also considered a combo guard. He's about 6'4", so a little bit different in size. He probably has the more shooting guard pedigree, the shooting guard makeup. So while they do appear a little bit similar in their skill sets, probably going to be playing a little bit different positions, with Kaden now having a little bit more of that point guard pedigree that he can be utilized in, just like Tahad Pettiford. I think that's a very fair comparison out there with our current team. So that's how there's some information about him, about the class as well, the makeup of it overall. If you're interested in these things, most sites consider him somewhere in the range of a 4-star commit, 4-star rating, and that brings Auburn's class currently at the time of his commitment to around in the mid-30s, somewhere on whichever site that you're looking at. Now, keep in mind, obviously, the rankings and all that stuff are a little bit different in basketball because you vary a lot throughout the year and throughout each year. How many people you're going to be taking, what your needs are, things like that. I get the feeling that certainly those rankings are going to change a lot with who all Auburn is going to be probably missing after this season. So let's talk about that. Let's dive into that a little bit. Let's dive into what the future might look like for him right now and for the program. Obviously, coming in at this position, if you are, and we're making the comparisons to Tahad Pettiford, well, Tahad's hopefully and likely still going to be around here. So he's going to be kind of maybe playing behind him. At least we can assume that right now at this time. So to me, I always like to look at where is he going to be filling? What spaces are going to be opening up that might be able to step right in and kind of maybe not fill the shoes, but at least that role. If you note on the roster, you're going to see a lot of seniors at a lot of different positions. But even at the guards position, one specifically, J.P. Pegues is a senior. Likely not going to be here next year. You also got Denver Jones as well, who also is a senior, likely not going to be here next year either. So to me, when I look at it, either one of those roles, if I just want to say he's replacing J.P. Pegues because he does have that point guard pedigree, that's easy enough to say. If you look at Simon Walker, who's still currently committed, he probably fits more of the Denver Jones role. So it looks like to me in those specific areas, we are now covered for the class, which leads me into that next point. What does it mean? What does this commitment mean for the class as a whole as of the time as his commitment? It says to me that those 2 spots that are going to be opening up in terms of playing time and stuff like that have now been filled, obviously by Simon, who was previously committed, but now today by Kaden, who's also committed as well. Doesn't mean that we're done. It doesn't mean that there won't be other shooting guards, combo guards, point guards, whatever, but we can at least say those 2 obvious spots have been filled going forward, and more larger players, big men type of roles that are going to be needed to be filled once players have left, that I'm sure we'll be talking about more in the future. So that kind of answers the question, are we done yet? I would definitely say we are not done yet. So there you have it, some information that you can know just right at the start about this new prospect that's coming into Auburn, Kaden, and we're really excited to have him be a part of this program, not just for this class, but for the upcoming future of Auburn men's basketball. And what an exciting time for him to jump on board. I'm sure a certain win in Houston made him feel really good about his commitment. Let us know your thoughts down there in the comments section below about this prospect and where you think he's going to fit in. We'd love to hear from you there, and thanks for hanging out with us. Until we talk to you again, War Eagle.